Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, March 2nd. We have all you need to know about a local fundraising campaign, as well as more details on the crisis happening in Ukraine.
We also have more on tree removals in State College, along with entertainment, sports, and weather. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Max Kugler.
And I'm Ben Russell.
The State College Tree Commission will be removing 15 trees along Atherton Street. The Downtown Public Works project originally proposed the removal of 46 trees before community pushback. Pointing towards State College's Tree City USA designation, local citizens rallied to make their voices heard in favor of the trees. This arbor upheaval is a component of PennDOT's $17 million South Atherton Street project. The project includes road improvements and the relocation of several utility lines. The remaining trees set for removal have been characterized as an invasive species or declared an obstruction of the roadways.
The Osage College Scholarship Endowment Committee announced it has surpassed its $100,000 fundraising campaign goal. The state college-based scholarship is named for Osage, a 29-year-old black man who was killed by a state college police officer in March 2019 after a mental health warrant was issued at his apartment. The campaign was initially announced in August 2021 and received donations from the Palmer Foundation and countless other individual donors. The biggest campaign push was on Giving Tuesday this past November. The 3 officers involved in the shooting have not been formally charged.
Center County United Way raised over $1.6 million in 2021 as part of their annual fundraising campaign. United Way works with local charities and nonprofit groups in order to benefit the surrounding community. For over 40 years, Penn State University has designated Center County United Way as its charity of choice. This has led to campus-wide campaigns with community events, volunteering, and local fundraisers. This figure surpasses the previous years by $74,000. Keeping expectations high, the 2022 fundraising goal has been set at $2.2 million. Back on campus, author, yoga instructor, and body positivity activist Jessamine Stanley held the Love Your Body yoga class earlier this week. Field reporter Olivia Dunn has all the details.
To kick off Women's History Month, the Gender Equity Center hosted author, yoga instructor, entrepreneur, and advocate Jessamine Stanley at a Q&A and book signing at Freeman Auditorium. Stanley was there signing copies of her most recent work, Yoke, My Yoga Self-Acceptance, which is a series of essays that, quote, explore the issues of race, self-love, capitalism, sex and sexuality, cannabis, and more. Stanley works to promote acceptance and break stereotypes in both the yoga world and beyond, and brought her message to Penn State students.
Body acceptance and really self-acceptance more generally is crucial. And so for Women's History Month, it's cool to be able to come here and talk about that, especially as it unites us all in this time of such chaos and distortion and sadness. And I feel really grateful to be able to be in community with other people who are concerned with the state of our world and wanting to join together to live in harmony.
Stanley also covers fat phobia in the yoga practice and even held a yoga class before the event. The theme for Women's History Month this year is Women Providing Health and Promoting Hope. The executive director of the Gender Equity Center, Becca Geiger, believes Stanley fits this theme perfectly.
How she came to yoga and her own practice and something that she wanted to do at a time when she felt in need or felt depressed. I think a lot of students can resonate with that, feeling lost, feeling hopeless, like I don't have a way in the world, and then just seeing where she's at now in terms of her platform, her influence, and she's a sought after speaker on the intersectional components of yoga and identity with LGBTQ plus identity and race. So for me, I just see all of those points aligning.
Events promoting Women's History Month will be occurring throughout March. Students can learn more about the Gender Equity Center and its events at studentaffairs.psu.edu. Here at Freeman Auditorium, I'm Olivia Dunn for Penn State Network News.
Coldstream Dam, a popular fishing area in Phillipsburg, was not included in Pennsylvania's Fish and Boat Commission's stocking list for 2022. The announcement was made much to the anger of local residents who were, quote, blindsided, end quote, by the decision. Commissioners voted to make Section 2 of Cold Stream a Class A wild trout stream. This resulted in its removal from the stocking list. Section 2 is the nearly 1.3-mile section located immediately above Cold Stream. This designation also forbids anyone else from stocking trout there. Last year, that section of Cold Stream was stocked with approximately 1,500 hatchery trout. It seems like the warm weather is making an appearance just as spring break is coming. Chris Lemo has all the details in this week's weather report after the break.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I've just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia? Let's do it. What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on... Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Well, definitely a pretty warm day today across the Happy Valley. Now, of course, as we get into March, we're going to start to see this change up and down. You kind of get those intrusions of some springtime weather, then go back and forth to winter. And we're going to go back to some wintertime weather tonight as we get down to the freezing mark. Some showers overnight, and I do think our ridges off to the north and west will probably see some snowflakes up towards maybe Moshannon State Park, some of those areas. Now, as we head into tomorrow, if you're out the day forecast, 26 degrees, so a lot cooler tomorrow morning than if you were walking out this morning. And you can see towards noon, breezy and 30 degrees. So a little bit warmer in the afternoon, getting up to 31 for the evening rush hour and sunny. But overall, again, a little bit below average for where we should be this time of year. But I do think that this cold shot is going to be pretty short-lived and overall not that bad compared to what we've gone through in January and February. Now, as we head towards the weekend, a couple big storylines that I'm looking forward to. And it's really a cold Friday. Friday is going to be a bit cooler, but then we're going to really warm up as we get into Saturday and Sunday. The problem is that's going to be accompanied by a lot of precipitation as we get into Sunday and early next week. As we sort of have that trough out in the west, really what happens is you get a lot of that warmer air coming out of the south later into the weekend and next week, but also that will bring in enhanced precipitation with that as well. So looking at the 7-day forecast, overall, not too bad of a forecast. You can see 35 tomorrow for our high, 41 on Friday. So again, not terrible, pretty much average. And then you really warm it up. 45 on Saturday, getting into the 60s on Sunday. We do drop back down Monday and Tuesday. As we get into Tuesday, it looks like we kind of go into another pattern flip. As we get into mid to late March, I do see some signals that we might go back below average with our temperatures. So that pattern flip towards middle of next week might be something to watch. And speaking of flips, Destiny Sanchez has all things Penn State gymnastics and other sports with the sports after the break.
Wow,
These are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia? Let's do it. What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%.
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
So good to see you guys. So what's up?
We finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on.
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Destiny Sanchez with your sports update. 3 Penn State men's gymnasts wrapped up a successful weekend at the Winter Cup on Sunday. The Nittany Lions secured 6 top 10 finishes in individual events. Sophomore Michael Giroux had the top finish of the weekend for the Nittany Lions, taking 3rd on high bar with a 2-day score of 27.2. He posted a 13.65 on Friday and then nearly matched it with a 13.55 on Sunday. Giroux was 7th on both parallel bars and rings and was 8th on pommel horse. Sophomore Matt Cormier's best showing came on rings, where he was 6th with 2-day score of 27.100. His Friday score was 13.5 before he made a slight improvement with a 13.6 on Sunday. He added a 9th place finish on vault. Sophomore Michael Artlip's top event of the weekend was vault. He finished 15th, scoring 14.0 on Friday and 13.9 on Sunday for a 2-day total of 27.9. Penn State is back in action on Saturday at 2 p.m. when it hosts Ohio State at Rec Hall. Penn State track and field combined for 4 medals at the Big Ten Indoor Championship last Saturday in Geneva, Ohio. The Nittany Lions finished off the weekend with 3 individual championships from Allison Johnson, Yasmin Brooks, and Chloe Royce. Johnson won gold, where she finished 800 meter with a time of 2:05.18. Coming right behind her with silver was senior Victoria Tuchinski at 2:05.82. Brooks won gold in the 60-meter hurdle with a time of 8.21. Senior Tyler Merkley won silver in the men's weight throw, where he added a personal PR with 21.86 meters, which is also 3rd in Penn State's history. Women's track and field finished off 3rd in the tournament as the group notching 85 points, just behind Minnesota and Ohio State. The men's team finished off in 9th with 36 points. Russian teams were suspended from international soccer over the Ukraine war. This includes qualifying matches for the 2022 World Cup, as Moscow was pushed forward in pariah status in sports for the invasion of Ukraine. World soccer body FIFA and European authority UEFA banned Russian national club and club teams from their competitions, quote, until further notice, end quote. Russia's men's national team was scheduled to play in the World Cup qualifying playoff in just 3 weeks. The International Olympic Committee said that this action was needed to, quote, protect the integrity of global sports competitions and for the safety of all participants, end quote. In the World Cup, Russia's potential future opponents, Sweden and the Czech Republic, had joined Poland, saying that they would refuse to take the field. The World Cup is scheduled to begin November 21st in Qatar. That's all for sports. After the break, Amanda Weissman will bring you the latest from the news of entertainment. Stay tuned.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer, 3 out of 4.
75%.
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
So good to see you guys. So what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on... Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Amanda Weissman with your entertainment update. Cafe Laura is having yet another delicious themed dinner tonight, Wednesday, March 2nd. Tonight's theme is Element, a sensory experience, and it is brought to you by students in Hospitality Management 430. This is a class devoted to advanced food production and service management. Students have selected a very tasty menu that includes a variety of foods sure to give your taste buds a fantastic experience. One entree is the Molten Magma Steak, a sizzling New York strip steak topped with roasted red pepper butter. Now that sounds delicious. Cafe Laura is located on the first floor of the Mateer building. Reservations must be made in advance up to parties of 4. Be sure to dine in for a great meal and to support your fellow Penn Staters. Do you want to jam out one last time before spring break? Well, Winter Jam 22 is going to make a stop at our very own Bryce Jordan Center this Friday, March 4th. Winter Jam is Christian music's biggest multi-artist tour and will be featuring a silent lineup of acts sure to keep your dancing on your feet. The lineup includes headliner Skillet, who will perform his new album Dominion, and Taryn Wells. The event will kick off at 7 p.m. with doors opening at 6 p.m. The event will not require the prior purchase of tickets and will be $10 at the door, cash or check only. Be sure to spread the word and get ready to jam out. In other on-campus news, the Penn State Gender Equity Center just wrapped up the It's On Us week of events, a week of action to support sexual assault victims and spread awareness. PSN News field reporter Shannon Tanzos has more.
This week, Penn State hosted the It's On Us event. During these workshops, the Penn State Gender Equity Center promotes the prevention of sexual violence and increases support for survivors. The Gender Equity Center received a grant of $30,000 last spring through the It's On Us campaign. There were 3 workshops available to attend: Sexual Citizenship, which primarily focused on relationships and boundaries; Beyond the Binary, that covered topics involving gender stereotypes, identity, and the gender spectrum; and lastly, Gender, Race, and Power, which included the struggles of oppression based upon race, gender, and other identities, while also discussing sexual violence. The program coordinator for outreach and prevention at the Gender Equity Center, Sophia Mills, believes It's On Us will have a lasting effect on students.
Awareness and education is the key to ending this type of violence. So I think the more folks that are aware of this type of violence and know about it, I really think that that will decrease the violence. You know, being able to recognize some red flags or yellow flags, some of those warning signs, some signs and symptoms of this type of violence.
These workshops were held Monday through Friday at various buildings across campus, and all students were welcome to attend in order to play a role in ending sexual violence. In University Park, I'm Shannon Tanzo reporting for PSN News.
Another day, another post from the one and only Kanye West, or so we assumed. West is claiming that it was not him posting the many hateful posts targeting Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson on his own verified Instagram account. Kardashian said, quote, "Kanye has been putting a lot of misinformation regarding our private family matters and co-parenting on social media, which has created emotional distress, end quote. Kardashian made this claim, which will be addressed in the upcoming court hearing to legally declare Kardashian single or not. West's lawyer has since said that the posts are inadmissible and Kardashian cannot prove that he was the one behind them. Sounds like West's beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy. As of this morning, Kardashian has now been declared legally single after a hearing in Los Angeles Superior Court. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, Jackie Claire will be speaking with Bob Martin, Assistant Dean of Internships and Career Placement for the Bellisario College of Communications, about his role in students' lives at Penn State. Stay tuned.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%.
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
So good to see you guys. So what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Oh,
Was it good?
God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Claire, and alongside me tonight is Bob Martin, Assistant Dean of Internships and Career Placement for the Bellisario College of Communications. Many students already know him well by receiving dozens of emails a day from him, but if not, he's someone you definitely want to get to know. Bob provides students with a multitude of jobs internship opportunities, hosts resume and interview workshops, and most recently put together a communications-specific job fair hosted this past Monday. So happy to have you here tonight, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. So I know I kind of just scratched the surface of a little bit of what you do, but if you want to give a more in-depth description of your role here.
Sure. So we work with students from day one once they walk onto campus, and we try to get them integrated into their career interests. And a great way to do that, obviously, is get involved with great clubs like PSN News, PSN Television. And we think that's what really makes college gratifying and fun. So we want our students to get involved quickly and kind of explore. So that's really important. It's oftentimes the catalyst to that first internship. And then, of course, hopefully a second internship and maybe even a career in that direction.
Absolutely. I know many students here value your mentorship so much. And I'm just wondering, how did you kind of get started with this role? Like, it's your job is giving students their dream jobs. Was this your dream job?
It's a great question. I would say was not my dream job when I walked out of school. And I like to tell our students that story quite a bit, because I think the word career sometimes becomes overwhelming to our students. They think such long-term about the word career. And I try to get them to think more short-term.
Right.
What interests you right at 21? Well, even before 21, but that's really what we're focused on, is that gateway entry-level opportunity. And what's the progression to get you to that first entry-level
Making sure they know those interests can change along the way as well.
Absolutely. We focus on chapter 1. That's exactly it. But when I walked out of here, I wanted to be a sportscaster.
Oh,
That
wow.
was my goal. Yeah, I wanted
Must
to
be familiar being back in a studio setting then.
It's quite common, yes. So I actually got on the air in radio, moved in that direction, and decided that maybe the management role was where I wanted to go. And so I worked my way up to general manager at 4 stations in my past life.
Wow.
Got the chance to teach part-time, got the bug to really get involved with students' lives, and the opportunity to run the internship and career placement program back in 1999 was offered to me.
Wow.
And it was a fledgling operation at that point. It wasn't the focus of the college. And I was really passionate about it because our stations were taking interns from the.
That's what I was kind of going to ask you. Like, do you think having that job experience from before allowed you to make more connections so that you're able to provide that database of so many people for it?
Sure. It certainly didn't hurt in the beginning.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I'm in my 22nd year here now. And so being at it as long as I have been, you make a lot of connections over the years. And that's helped us grow our program. But I got to tell you, one of the greatest things we have going for us, our alumni base. They want to help, and they are such an integral part of our success.
Definitely.
I always say that we've got the greatest alumni. Penn Staters love helping Penn Staters.
Absolutely. I think a big challenge for students is feeling awkward about networking and maintaining those relationships, like asking for things. How do you kind of go about that? Because I'm assuming that's a large part of your job.
Absolutely. And it's so critical that it shouldn't be awkward.
Yeah.
Because it should be inquisitive. You should be wanting to learn as much as you can about the profession you want to go into. So we try to start it off by making sure you're asking good questions about how they got to where they are. What was the first thing they got involved with when they came here to Penn State? What was the next step and the next step? When did they integrate internships into that career path? Was there a hiccup along the way?
Right.
Did you maybe divert away from in a different direction? And there's a lot of serendipitous careers that start that way. You know, I was interested in PR, but then I started, like you, getting in front of a camera, and maybe the broadcasting world is where you want to go.
Absolutely. It's definitely acceptable to change it and figure out what you're interested along the way. Obviously, the Nittany Lion, like internships and career offices, that you guys provide so many resources. I think today I saw something you sent out that you provide the opportunity for students to go rent out a suit so they can look well and dressed for success in those interviews. Do you think there's any resources that you guys provide that students don't take enough advantage of or maybe don't know about?
Well, you know, we call it the 3C approach here, is what we truly believe makes our students marketable and well prepared. Do well in the classroom, first C.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the foundation to any good career. Be strong academically, but take advantage of what's available here. Campus experiences like you're all doing. It's such a critical part to breaking out of that shell, and plus it's what makes college fruitful. But then being the catalyst to an internship, that's the third C, career experience. You put those 3 things together, and I don't know how you can make yourself more marketable and well prepared. Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about how Job Expo, the event that ran this past Monday, went.
Yes. So that was our 23rd annual jobexpo.com. It's a playonwords.com communications. We had a little hiccup, as most of you know, with the university shutting down campus. They also shut down
here.
Yeah, they shut down our event. And believe me, our recruiters were none too pleased. They thought we could just move on with this. And I said, unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah.
And it was crushing for us, too, because we were very excited about getting back face to face. But luckily, we had Monday, which was our virtual version of jobexpo.com going on. And 73 of the 82 companies participated.
Oh, wow.
Over 160 recruiters from those companies attended. So
honestly, probably more are able to attend online so they don't have to travel and things. So.
Without a doubt, there is the silver lining to the pandemic for us.
Absolutely.
It's offered our students an opportunity to get in front of a lot of recruiters that in a very brief amount of time, and vice versa. They don't have to travel. So it has opened up some doors there. But I got to tell you, we do miss the person-to-person opportunities.
I was gonna ask, do you think like not having the opportunity to be face-to-face hinders students? They don't necessarily haven't learned how to do that interaction yet, a lot of us.
We work hard on training and coaching our students up.
Yeah.
The good thing is you can do it all from your desk in your
true.
apartment or dorm and look good from the waist up, right?
Yeah.
And so it's important that we teach our students how to handle those interactions virtually. But we're back in person with our next and final event, Success in the City in New York
Awesome.
City on March 18th.
March 18th.
Shameless plug here.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, do you have any events coming up in the future? But you always answer all my questions for me. It's perfect.
So our seniors have actually received the advertisement for that today.
Okay.
And they were able to register, and we'll move our way down to juniors, I should say third-year students,
Right.
second-year students, and then our first-year students. So everyone will have an opportunity. We have transportation to New York City
Oh,
at a
wow.
new venue. We had it 13 years at the Time Warner Building, where TNT, True TV, TBS, and CNN are located. They moved out of there, so we had to find a new venue. But we're really excited about this venue called ETC Venues, and got a lot of great recruiters lined up for our students to meet for internships and full-time jobs.
That's very exciting. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. But to those listening, you definitely are going to want to check out those events. To all those watching, I would just like to say, be sure to make an appointment on Nittany Lion Careers and get a chance to know Bob a little better. Coming up next, we have news across the nation with Ben and Max.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I've just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia? Let's do it. What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%.
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
So good to see you guys. So what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Oh,
Was it good?
God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
14 people were shot at a party in a Las Vegas hookah lounge early on Saturday, with 1 dead and 2 others critically wounded. According to Police Captain Dory Corin, the shooting took place at around 3:15 a.m. when an altercation began and gunfire was exchanged. Authorities believe there is no imminent danger to the public. No arrests have been made, and there are no current subjects at large.
President Joe Biden praised Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson as a, quote, proven consensus builder, end quote, and a, quote, distinguished jurist, end quote. Brown currently aims to make history, becoming the first Black woman to serve on the High Court. Biden formally announced Jackson, a current judge of the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, as his replacement for retiring Justice Stephen Breyer. Jackson previously had clerked for Breyer and will be the first former federal public defender on the High Court. She is one of 3 candidates on Biden's Supreme Court shortlist, along with U.S. District Judge J. Michelle Childs and California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger. With the confirmation process now underway, the lofty goal of the Democratic Party is to have it wrapped up by April.
The United States and European nations agreed to impose the strongest financial sanctions seen in modern times on Russia this past Saturday. The sanction will be on the Russian central bank reserves and Russian participation in SWIFT, an international financial messaging system. The intensity of these sanctions has only increased as the invasion of Ukraine progresses. The removal of Russia from the SWIFT system effectively prohibits the nation from importing and exporting goods. Targeting financial strongholds such as the central bank would bar $600 billion in reserves. The Kremlin needs those finances to back the Russian ruble, which continues to decline in value. These actions are intended to impact both the wealthy Russian elite and the common citizen, with a goal to create inflation and political unrest in the nation.
The Biden administration has declared it does not intend to put troops in Ukraine or engage Russia directly. President Joe Biden told NBC News that direct American engagement with Russia could begin a global war. However, if Russia invades bordering NATO member nations, such as Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, or Romania, the U.S. and other NATO alliance nations are obligated by Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty to respond. American troops are currently stationed throughout Europe to protect this NATO alliance. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield states that, quote, "We're ramping up as the Russians ramp up, so there's more to come," end quote. That's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.